Today's Saturday, November 22nd. Thanksgiving in the States, I think. When? This weekend or next weekend? I don't know. We celebrate it at a different time here in Canada, I think. And Saturday in winter means that we start at 7:45 instead of 7:45, so which means that in theory I can sleep until 6:45, but I still woke up at 5:30. I worked double shifts, no, maybe a shift and a half yesterday, because I worked here and then it was Friday, right? So I always want to try Friday late night. Still didn't do it. Only did Uber till 7:30. Yeah, my last passenger or passengers I dropped off in downtown at 7:32 p.m. And how do I know it was 7:32? How do I remember? It's because it was 3 kids. It's actually an interesting story. So I was doing Uber, you know, started from my area, then went north, south, and after like 5 or 6 rides, I ended up in Airdrie. And was not too happy about that, because in Airdrie, I got stuck once there. Basically, all you get is like super short rides inside Airdrie, like people going to a restaurant, or let's say, I think it was Saturday, last time I got stuck there. People going to get their cars, because on Friday they were too drunk to drive, so they took Uber. Now they're taking Uber back to their car, you know. And it was all like 1 kilometer, 2 kilometers, which is, of course, you know, it's $4 or $5 per kilometer, but it's like $3.95, $5, nobody tips, of course, as usual. And so I'm thinking, man, I'll probably have to drive back empty, you know. And it's Airdrie, it's what, 25, you know, 30 kilometers back to my area. So I was sitting there thinking what to do, and after like 5 minutes, Uber gave me a ride. Okay, so I go to pick up this guy, not too far, maybe 2 kilometers. And it's actually 3 guys. 3 young guys, maybe like 18, 19 years old. And they come out, and 2 of them are holding beer. And one guy says, "Oh, can we get in with the beer, or shall we pour it out?" I said, "Well, I'm sober, but if we get stopped, I think I might get the ticket because of you, so it would be good if you can pour it out, you know." And so they finished it in one gulp, or poured whatever was there. Got in. One guy was in the front, 2 guys in the back, and I quickly learned that they were heading downtown Calgary, 10th Avenue, to a beer restaurant to celebrate one of these guys' 18th birthday. And there was talk about doing 18 shots, once for each year, and they're already tipsy. So we had a good time. And so when I was going down the ramp towards Deerfoot, towards Highway 2 to go south, I decided to push my throttle and see, you know, if the guys appreciate the power of V8 and the sound, of course, the sound. They got really excited. Oh, they started shouting. One guy gets out $20 bill, gives me. He says, "You're the best Uber driver." And this is actually the second time I hear this, when 3 other guys, tourists from Ontario, were going to the same restaurant. It's called Craft Beer Market, I think, on 10th Avenue. And I did the same trick for them. I said, "Do you guys like the sound of a V8? I think they gave me a tip like $5, but not like these guys. So this guy gives me a $20 tip. And then when they learn I'm from Russia, they start asking me, you know, how to say this, how to say that in Russia, how to say, you know, "You're beautiful." Like he says, we have lots of Russian girls in my gym or something, or in his school or something. So I was trying to teach him how to say, "You are beautiful, and can I get your phone number?" You know. So we were practicing all the way. It's like 15-20 minutes, and the birthday boy says, the one who gave me $20, he says, okay, if you can get us there before 7:30, I'll give you another 40. I said, well, I'll try. And so we got there at 7:32. That's why I remember. So I said, guys, I'm sorry, but we are 2 minutes late. And the birthday guy says, okay, that's close enough. Gives me 20. So it was $40 tip, plus the ride paid $28 for 31 kilometers. So $68 in half an hour. You know, that's Friday night for you. This is probably the best Uber ride I had ever in terms of money and fun. So they were not drunk, you know, they were just a bit tipsy, you know, heading over to the pub to celebrate their friend's birthday. But the problem is that I ended up there at 7:32 in downtown Calgary, and it's dead. It's too early because all people are already in bars getting drunk, right? And like AI Google, when I was asking about this, it said the rush hour starts at 9 p.m. And also, yeah, I checked the map of earnings on Uber app, and sure enough, 7:38 it's low, but then it becomes high around 9, 10. But I'm working Saturday, you know, I don't want to sit there, even though my original plan was to try to do it until midnight. But I said no, I already feel tired, maybe I'll try it next week. But Saturday night is also supposed to be good, but again, it has to be late, 9 to 1 a.m. you know, like people still go to bars. And so yeah, today we have a short shift, 8 to 4. So I want to go to the gym after, like this. I only did the gym once this week on Tuesday. I've been lazy again, so I want to go today. I have all my spare shoes, my gloves, my t-shirt, tank top, and then I want to go home, and then I'm gonna start late. Like yesterday I started at 5, you know, and then I went home, had my protein shake and was waiting, and it's too early. But I did get these guys around 7 in Airdrie, so I think I'll start at 7 tonight and see what happens. And then Sunday I'll go downtown and try to catch me some Banff rides. That's what AI said. Potentially some rich people might go into the mountains for a day, you know, hike, and a lot of them stay in downtown hotels or west side of Calgary. That's where you're supposed to pick them up. So anyway, now I'm doing my first run. Look at these guys. It's 80 kilometers an hour here. And sometimes there's a camera car sitting either on one side or on both sides. But yeah, those kids really like the sound of V8, you know. And the guy says, what is this, a V6? I said, V6? V6 is for little girls. This is V8. How much is she pushing? I said, do you mean horsepower wise? I said, probably around 400. I said, I didn't do any mods except we cut out the resonators and I put in an H-pipe. And these kids knew what H-pipe was. You know, quite often when I tell somebody, they have no idea what an H-pipe is. And so that's what gives it this classic muscle sound, and it picks up speed faster, like honestly. But all it is, of course, you know, it has a genuine dual exhaust, right? Each side of the engine has its own exhaust pipe, and then H pipe is all you do is you where the resonators were, you put a pipe to connect these two pipes, so it looks like an H. and that improves the exhaust evacuation, or whatever you call it, and so it gives you more power. And mostly I did it for the sound. And why H pipe instead of X pipe? X pipe, it's more, well, first off, X pipe is much more expensive, and X pipe gives you higher sound, like higher note, and that's what X pipe is, a modern style. That's what most cars now have. And so I wanted to be a bit different, and I read online that H pipe gives you a slightly deeper sound, and it's like old school, you know. And I really like that, and it's true. That's what it turned out to be. So H pipe, where you connect the two pipes with a little piece, sounds amazing. And I already have, I'm getting compliments from people, you know. Everybody loves it. Well, not everybody. Like people that like cars, they love the sound. Like these kids yesterday, and then those tourists I took to the St. Pierre place. So anyway, doing my first run on 201. Now I switched now I'm using Google more on Google Maps instead of Apple Maps, because Apple Maps keeps screwing up. And I switched to satellite view, which makes it a bit more interesting. So now we're going south on Stony Trail 201 to the place, to a Russian guy I met already twice before. He owns a storage place where people store, you know, RVs and trucks and stuff like that. And he already rented a skid steer twice, and I delivered it, and he speaks Russian, so you know, it's nice, interesting. And so now I have the same wheeled case skid steer. Just started it up, and it didn't have any buckets, so I found, I looked at the paperwork, it's a smooth bucket, because we have two types, right? Tooth bucket and smooth bucket. So this guy wants a smooth bucket, okay. I hooked up a smooth bucket, made sure that the locking teeth were in properly. You know, you flip the bucket to see if it falls off or not, and then you can, when you turn it upside down, you can see those teeth going into the holes at the bottom of the bucket to secure it, but you can only see it when you tipped it over, which is tricky, because if it didn't lock properly, the bucket just falls off. And so I just go slowly, and then I see the teeth were not in those holes, they were outside. And so I retrieved them, and the bucket went into proper place. And then I used the little shifter on the joystick to lock it again. Flipped it up, and I see now teeth are in the proper hole. So we're all good. So two chains in the front, and on this case skid steer, using the handles. They have handles on each fender, which is pretty unusual, but there's a picture there, a picture of a you know, shows tie down, so it's a legitimate tie down. And then in the back it has eyes, two eyes under the counterweight, under the engine. So put one chain in there and one strap over the bucket, and we're good to go. And this thing weighs under 10,000. I think I looked up online, it's about 8,500 pounds, probably, I don't know, 3.5 tons for our overseas friends. So we're cruising at 95k an hour, 59 miles per hour. Time now is just before 9. Yeah, my ETA shows at 8:56 a.m. Today should be a beautiful day, but Monday we're getting snow. But my Durango, that's what I'm using for Uber. My Durango is getting dirty, so I think tonight after work I'm gonna go through that cheap car wash, not the one where you do it yourself, but there's one near my job. They're just like 11 bucks, 12 bucks if you buy gas. or petrol. Speaking of which, the price today was at that Shell station $1.30 per liter. But the area near the airport is not good for in terms of pricing. Like yesterday, I was driving around with these passengers, and I saw in the south, like South Calgary is the best. I saw one station was selling gas for $1.20. You know, so that 10 cents difference, which means that each 10 liters save you $1, which is actually, it seems like it's a lot, like $1.20 versus $1.30, but if you think about it, you save $1 for 10 liters. So let's say if I put 30 liters in, I'm saving $3. But of course, you know, it all adds up if you do it all the time. But yeah, if I could choose, I would never fill up in my area. In northeast and north, it's always way cheaper down south for some reason. Same chain, you know, let's say Shell or Co-op or Esso, they all sell their gas at a higher price near the airport. Like, why? Maybe because of tourists, people come in and I don't know, they rent cars or something. So we still have 12 clicks, 8 miles to go to 22x. I turned off the volume. See, traffic is moving good, and I love, as I mentioned before, I love working on weekends because of this, because it feels very relaxed. I love this in the truck as well, when I was trucking. Because weekends are the best. Less traffic, and quite often inspection stations are locked up for the weekend. So you don't have to deal with those pesky freaking inspectors. So yeah. And of course, you see, now I'm, until, like I mentioned before, I opted in to work 6 days a week now, because winters are usually slow. We don't get enough hours, and Uber is slow, so I cannot make up the difference. And so the boss agreed to let me work 6 days a week, a surprise, because the other driver, who usually we alternate Saturday shifts with, like I work 2 Saturdays a month, he works 2 Saturdays a month, but that guy has a family, so he was more than pleased to accommodate me. So now he works 5 days a week, I work 6, until, I think it's until April. Oh, and I used one of the $20 bills that the guy yesterday gave me as a tip. I used to buy a lottery, because maybe it's a lucky $20, you know. So I put 20 bucks. I think it's a very wise investment, a good retirement strategy. That's how I'm gonna retire. I'm gonna win a lottery. I think it's a solid plan. I don't see any flaws in it. So yeah, I put 20 bucks on Lotto 649 that plays tonight. I like Saturdays, like I said, and so Sunday morning I'm gonna go and check the lottery, see if I have to work, or maybe I can just go home and celebrate, you know, a big win. All right, 5 miles, 8 clicks to my exit. And then I have a pickup, so I'm dropping off this skid steer, and on the way back I'm picking up a scissor lift. Oh, by the way, funny story, yesterday I was picking up a small scissor lift at a Safeway, you know, like a supermarket, And I'm in the back. Oh, check this out. Guy with the escort. Oh, he's empty. Let's see if we can capture this guy. So, K-Whopper, tandem Jeep, tandem RGN, but he probably has multiple wheels on the axle, as they usually do here. And he has a pilot for some reason. I'm pretty sure he does not need a pilot for this. He probably, the pilot just escorts him because his load is gonna be big and wide. And yeah, if you remember, here in Western Canada, they don't allow lift axles on trucks. And so, unless you, so you can either be a tri-drive, that's allowed, or you can be a regular truck with a tandem Jeep. I've been passing this trucking company, you know, like there's a trucking company near my work, and they used to have a sign, drivers wanted. Now they took that sign down. Oh, look at this, white Pete moving a combine. Can we capture this? Yeah, 3-axle light RGM. A bunch of trailers here, over there. Trucks, trailers. I think it's a leasing place. You can lease all kinds of equipment. Look at this guy. So if I'm doing 95, that's probably 135. So 35, that's 40 kilometers over. That's probably a $400 ticket if they catch him. But he's going too fast, they're not gonna catch him. And lately I've been thinking about semi-trucks for some reason, because it's been 3 years since I drove one. And actually it's funny, I remember, oh yeah, sorry, I get distracted. So I was talking about the supermarket, and so I'm picking up the scissor lift, and the shipper, you know, they're all moving stuff in there on the dock, you know, they're very busy, and like, you know, supermarket, there's never enough space. They have boxes everywhere, you know, bread lying in open trays, drinks in bottles, you know, all over the place. And so there's the guy, the shipper is white, but 2 people that help him are young kids, and they look Chinese. And as I'm driving this machine through the door, I hear that the girl asks the shipper, she says, "What do you call this?" And the guy says, "Sir, what do you call this machine?" Like he did not know either. I said, "Scissor lift." And he's like, and he tells, "Oh, scissor lift, okay." And he tells that kid, "Scissor lift," and they look, "Scissor lift," like they didn't catch that it was scissor, you know, like scissor, Caesar. They thought it was Caesar. And I said, I stopped the machine. I said, "Guys, you want to know why it's called a scissor lift?" They shook their heads. So I switched the mode on the controller from movement to height, and I pushed on the joystick, and the machine started going up. And of course, the frame under it looks like this. I said, "You see this? Like a crossing members that look like scissors? That's why it's called a scissor lift." And they're like, "Oh, okay." But I still see there was some confusion on their faces, so the English was not very good. All right, this is my exit. 22X. Then we're gonna flip around. Yeah, go under the bridge. And we're gonna take, yeah, see, like 80, what I like to do is I like to stay under the next mark on my speedometer, which is 90. Like if it's 80, I try to stay below 90, so 85, 83. I know that's safe, you know. So let's say if it's 50 kilometers an hour, I try to stay under 60. This way, that's why in all my driving career, I only had one speeding ticket in New York in my Challenger, $150 US, son of a gun. And then I had this one recently, but this one I'm contesting, and the court is scheduled for next August. That's how you hack the system. So now I have to be careful. And by that time, by the way, why I did this, why I pushed the, well, actually I did not know that it would take him a year. I never agreed to pay especially speeding tickets. Well, this is my second one in 45 years, because I always watch my speed. You know, I'm not doing the speed limit, but I am careful, unlike many other people. And so I was super happy to learn that the court is next year, because it means that my U-turn ticket will expire, like the points I got from that stupid U-turn, which is not allowed at lights, like who knew, in Calgary. And I did a U-turn in Red Deer and got a ticket, and I think I got like 3 demerit points, and they will expire by next August. So which means that when I go to court, my record will be clean, which might give me a fighting chance, you know, to ask for forgiveness and could you guys give me a break? This is my only second speeding ticket since 1984, like really. And the one in New York, New York State, I was going through Buffalo in my white Durango 392, returning from New York City, where I spent the weekend when I lived in Cambridge. And I was doing 80 miles an hour, and the speed limit turned to 65. And the guy gave me a ticket. Man, I wish I should have kept that car. I really like that 392. It was an amazing machine. And now, of course, you cannot buy them anymore. And even last year, in anything with a large engine, like in 22, 23, Chrysler just jerked the prices. That that Challenger 6.4 liter, right, 392 cubic inches with 6 speed manual. I got brand new for 52,000 Canadian. It was either 2019 or 2017, I don't remember. And then I traded it in for a Charger 5.7 4-door automatic, and that one was the same price. It was like either $50,000 or $52,000. But then when they were stopping the production, they jerked the prices by like $20,000-$30,000. I remember looking at this Challenger 392. It was like 80,000 bucks, you know. And everybody was saying that the quality went down. Like one guy I'm watching from California, he was saying that he bought a 23 Challenger 392, and he was complaining about issues that never were there before, and also he was getting the same feedback from other people. So basically, yeah, it's stupid, you know. It was a nice car, affordable, 50 grand. I don't think that's too much, and they just killed it, jerked the price, and now they're bringing back the V8s. But I really don't like the look of this stupid 2025 Charger. Like super narrow radiator, like very short. I don't know, it looks ugly. Like The old Challenger and the Charger, they were beautiful. Like, I would get one now in a second, you know. But I have my Durango, all-wheel drive, true dual exhaust, H-pipe, 5.7. It's an amazing apparatus. The beast. I love this machine. It's a wheeled case. Check this out. I did not lock it because you can enter, like, it's when you shut down the machine after loading, it says, would you like to lock it? So if you say yes, it locks it, then you have to enter the code. Service notice. Okay, full fuel, full battery. There's a nice, see, it has this mirror, you can see the back. So I'm backing because this is very expensive. If you face it that way, a rock can fly like it did with the telehandler once. So now I'm always backing the machine, and the way I do it, you see that hole in the back there, and then the bolt in the middle of the, well, actually this step in the middle, that's the middle of the bucket. So I know that that bolt and this step have to be in line with that hole, and then I check, it was a bit off, so I just flipped it, and it's perfect. Like now I'm like a pro, you know, I can back any machine. This is your hydraulics, see, and it starts moving because that also your parking brake, but you have to push it in order to operate. See this? And that's it. Just start driving. So same as what I had at the construction site. So left joystick is for movement, and this one is your bucket. And the owner was here, the customer of this place, and he says, I have to run, so he opened the gate for me, but he says, please park the machine somewhere in this bucket over here near the I guess I'll just back it for him. Where's that thing? I don't see the bucket. Where's the cone? Oh, over there. See those, this is how you open, this is how you lock those red things over there. They go in and out. So to open, you have to hold this and this simultaneously, but to lock it, you only use this. And then that's what I do when I check that the teeth should be in there. You see they're in, they're holding the bucket, and you can turn the light on, and that's what I do. So I'm really good with this machine. I mean, that's one of the reasons I love this job, is that I get to play with all this, you know, yellow iron, and that's it. So we turn like this, and it says, do you want to lock the machine? And I click enter, no. And that's what I told the guy. I said, do you want me to lock it? He says, no, because his son is gonna come over and lock the gate, so it's inside the gate. And that's it. We put up this safety bar, open the door, and first delivery is done. And check out these older RVs people store here, like this GM. Man, these must be really old. Chevy, Ford, but this one is fun. Mercedes, see? Nice. Okay, I'm just gonna turn around in the back there, and I want to show you guys, see what else people store here. Okay, these are newer ones. See, it's a like kind of like buses, but then you have all these, the one that you tow. And Alberta is, everybody has one of these. You know, like because they're easy to finance, even though they will finance it for like 30-40 years for you, so they become super expensive. But because we're close to US, right, and most people, like retirees, what they do is, or what they used to do was, they used to where do I go? I think I can go this way. What they do is, in winter, they just hook up one of these with a pickup truck, or, you know, if it's a bus, right, and then they drive south into US. Oh, that's what he's doing. So he's expanding. See, he was kind of like making it level, so he's getting more spots for people to store. So yeah, it's a big property. See, somebody brought him this dirt. Probably that's what he's doing. Somebody brought him his dirt, and he's leveling it off with a skid steer. Probably all this land is his, you know. Now that's the best freaking investment, you know, real estate. I didn't realize how big this is. Look, people store boats. Actually, I was thinking about this, you know, like this lifestyle. I'm a nomad, you know, I'm a gypsy. I don't like sitting in one place. So one plan was, you know, maybe when I don't want to work anymore, all I can do is just do YouTube from the road. So I can get one of these. And by the way, because everybody has these, you can buy them very cheap, like especially used ones. Like, yeah, new ones are expensive, but used ones, you can people buy them and then they get stuck in the loan, and they try to get rid of them. I always see them on the side of the road, you know, for sale, like either this type, the towable trailers, or the buses, you know. And something like this, all you need for one guy, you know. And I already have the Durango. All right, off to the next one. So we're living in the beautiful country here, southeast Calgary, and we're heading to, I wanted to show you this because it's 15 kilometers, 9 miles, but we'll be on some really backwood roads, because the place where I'm going is just north of me, so there's no reason to go back to 201. Now I like this Calgary city limit, maximum 40 kilometers an hour unless posted otherwise. So if it's not posted, nothing is posted here. See, this is where Calgary starts, and if nothing is posted, I'm supposed to do 40 kilometers an hour, which is really, so 25 miles per hour. And I remember this road, I used it once coming here with my second delivery for this guy. It's really bumpy, but then we're turning at the next one. That's north, that's west. I can see the mountains. And so yeah, that RV style, you know, I like it. I watched a couple of videos on YouTube. Some people, you know, that's what they do. They travel around the US and Canada, and they make videos about the experience, and they're getting, like, you know, millions of views. Okay, wait a second. Am I turning here? Oh yeah, you see, that's what I meant. This is Range Road 284.
Continue on Range Road 284 for 3 kilometers.
Well, hopefully it's not too bad. So it's all dirt, but it looks like it's packed dirt. Like, I love, you know, sometimes you get tired of driving on the asphalt, right? And so yeah, that RV, my Durango, I think the Compass can only tow up to 2,000 pounds, including the weight of the trailer, which is ridiculous. But Durango, because it's a 5.7 and all-wheel drive, I think it's maximum weight, trailer plus load, it's either 8,000 pounds or 8,500 pounds. So that means that I already can tow medium-sized RV, you know, like a trailer. And just Well, now of course US is expensive because of the dollar difference, and most Canadians nowadays, they choose not to go to the States because of the trade war and the way Trump treats Canada. And so people now actually go to other parts of Canada, you know, because we still have warmer parts. It's not all, you know, Arctic, like probably like some people think. So you can go to BC, you know, go to South BC, or go to Victoria Island or Vancouver, you know, and it's much warmer over there. And you can find either some truck stop or some RV place and spend the winter over there. Oh, I can see downtown from here. It's probably 25 kilometers away. And these are all farms. So I see some farm equipment, some big tractors. Looks like old ones. All right, what is this? 20 kilometers an hour over the rails. By the way, this would be a spot where I would get nervous if I was pulling in RGN, you know. So what I would do is I would figure out if I need to, oh yeah, it is bumpy, if I need to raise it. And that was of course the huge advantage of a hydraulic RGN. Yeah, I would definitely, if I didn't raise the front and I had a heavy machine, I would get stuck on the rails. And so you go out, you start your PTO on the truck, easy peasy, raise the RPM, run to the front of the trailer, raise the front, couple of positions, go back, cancel the high idle, cancel the PTO. It was somewhere here, I think. Move over the rails, repeat the same procedure, drop the height back to the transport position, and you're good to go. All right, and somewhere here I think we should be switching to paved road. But yeah, this is interesting, right? Like, I drive every day on paved roads, so sometimes like something like this, you know, open fields as far as the eye can see, farms. Yeah, and that's why I like weekends, you know, there's no rush. So today, sometimes actually Saturdays are super busy, we are running like crazy, but I'm doing my work, right? I'm not taking time away from my work, like I'm recording as I'm driving. So this is 114 Avenue Southeast, or Township Road 232. You see? We are on the pavement. Driving school. Anybody want to get the Class 1 license?
Township Road 232 for 1.5 kilometers.
$10,000 fine for littering or dumping. Wow. That's a huge fine. Okay, more farms, more combines. That's like a small, actually, tractor. And farmers always have these super old trucks because they keep them for like, you know, 30-40 years. I still see quite a few, you know, like 5-ton trucks they used to move crops. I still see GMC, Ford from like early 70s. They look very cute.
In 600 meters, turn left on the Range Road 283.
Okay, so my guess is this next one is also a dirt road. So let's see. There's some kind of a business enterprise over here.
Turn left on the Range Road 283.
283. Okay. Let's see. Dirt or pavement? See, no traffic. I'm all by myself. On pavement.
Range Road 283 for 3 kilometers.
Cool. So 50 miles an hour, 80 clicks an hour. And all our trucks have trackers, right? I mentioned this before, so that's why they don't bother us too much. They know exactly where we are. All they have to do is just they click on a picture on the screen and it shows the location of my truck and where I'm going and at what speed. Yeah, they can see the speed. That's why you don't want to go too crazy, you know, under the speed limit. Or you would get a call, Sergey, why are you driving 65 clicks an hour where the speed limit is 80? No, I'm joking. They never do that. Like, I've been here, what, almost 2 years? I did not get a single phone call. Like, you know, one of those annoying calls you get from your dispatcher. So, what's taking so long? You should have been there, you know, 3 hours ago. Never. Because we all trying our best. We don't sit in one spot for half an hour, you know. I don't stop for coffee. I only have one break, 30 minutes. Because again, they track us all the time, and so that puts you, you know, in a position where subconsciously you don't want to disappoint people, you know. And they've been good to me. They raised my salary already twice, so now it's just under decent, couple more bucks per hour and I would be really happy, but it's okay. I never expected to make you know,
600 meters, turn
this
left on
much
Glenmore
just
Trail
driving a
over
pickup truck
560
and a
west.
5-ton truck. And actually what's interesting is that at first I asked this question. I said, do the wages change when I switch from a light vehicle like a Ram 3500 to a 5-ton? They said no,
Turn left onto
it's all by the hour.
Alberta 560 west.
So whether we are driving to Banff in a 5-ton or loading scaffolding or delivering skid steers or mini excavators, it's all the same rate. And once you go over, what is it, 40 or 44 hours a week, you get overtime.
Continue on Alberta 560 west for 3 kilometers.
So this is, what is this? 560 west. Oh, I've been to this container yard. Remember I did a video about this, how I got almost lost in the inside, because there's all these little narrow passages there. And at one point, the huge forklift, the guy motions me go this way, like he was moving these containers. Yeah, it was this yard. And so now we're now we're going west towards Calgary and the mountains. Oh, oversized guy, but I think he's empty. Lights are flashing. Lights are flashing. Peterbilt. Tandem Jeep, single axle booster. Tridem trailer. Some guy is sitting on my bumper. You know, sometimes I wish I would have an ability to operate my wheel lift as I'm driving. because I have that wheel lip that goes out. You know, like this guy sits, I don't know, 3 meters behind me. It would be nice to see his reaction if the wheel lift starts crawling towards him. Okay, I think it's at the lights. At the lights I'm turning right. On north. Signal on.
600 meters, turn right onto
5 clicks.
Southeast Range Road 285.
Ridge Road 285, so also known as Garden Road.
At the light, turn right onto 100
Oh, I know this one.
Southeast Range Road 285.
Okay, who are we? Are we yielding to somebody?
Continue on 100 Street Southeast for
No.
3 kilometers.
They're all turning left. Oh yeah, I've been here before. This is Heather Glen Golf Club. Smack in the middle of the industrial area. You don't see any golfers because it's 0C 32F. And it's Saturday morning. Maybe it's closed. But it's November. Here we have a pretty narrow bridge, so you have to be careful with this oncoming traffic. Yeah, I was here a couple of times at this storage complex. A guy has some kind of a business where he receives tractor trailers, and he was renting twice already. I've been here. He rents our forklift just to unload the trailer, and then when he's done he calls the office and we come and pick it up and bring it back. Peterbilt double tanker. This facility has a crazy security system. They have a gate and nobody talks to you, you just have to push the button. Last time I was there, this is my 3rd time, maybe 4th. You push the button and I just say in a steel voice, I say, open the gate, and the gate opens. The guy doesn't talk to you, like there's somebody on the other end of that. But they have a camera and they can see the name of my company on the door, and they see that I'm not a tractor trailer, so I don't have any goods when leaving, when coming or going.
First Avenue, Carmack Boulevard, then turn right onto Carmack Drive.
Yeah, it's somewhere here. This place on the left, but you cannot enter here. You have to go through the truck entrance and then deal with security. And I know my machine somewhere is on the dock, first dock on this side. And we loaded, just left the facility. I'm checking the email, see if there's they want me to pick up anything else. No, nothing there. So, do I have any urgent emails on my phone? Maybe somebody wants to buy something. I have a couple of ads running. on Kijiji and Facebook, but no luck so far. I was trying to sell my second bike, you know, even though I don't want to, but I just need the money.
Turn left onto 61st Avenue, Carmack.
And a few people were interested, surprisingly, because it's a $2,000 bike. Of course, I'm not selling it for that, but the problem is the size. Turns out, you know, for some reason,
Turn left onto 61st Avenue,
I had
Carmack
like
Boulevard.
2 serious inquiries, you know.
Southeast.
Like the last guy actually went to the same store and he saw this bike, this particular bike. He went to the same Bike and Brew and he liked the bike, but then, you know, I'm offering it at a big discount, of course, otherwise people would buy new. But the problem is the size of the frame. So this guy is shorter than me.
Turn right onto 100th Street Southeast, Range Road.
And he says, I'm interested, I saw this bike at the store, at the shop. What's the size of your frame? So I tell him the size of the frame. He says, oh no, that's too tall. And I said, well, the seat is like this on my bike. Because, you know, I said, I'm 181 centimeters or just under 6 feet. I said, you can probably lower the seat. And he says, no, that's the frame is too tall. Like, how short is this guy? 5 feet? 1.50 с кепкой? Alright, man, I'm waiting for this guy. He's like taking his sweet time.
Continue on 100th Street Southeast for 1 kilometer.
So, back to base. Oh, it's getting hot in here. Like, this heater takes forever, but once it gets going, you can die from heat stroke in here. Okay, and here you see there's no gate, so you have to stop, make sure there's no trains. And another new community coming up. Well, I don't think these are houses. These are, it's probably going to be another industrial facility. But not very good location, near these high voltage power lines that everybody knows they cause cancer. Like, that guy's in danger. Truck driver, and he doesn't even know it. Oh, this is a nice facility. I was just passing here the other day. So they make these big transformer kind of like houses. I know that these are super heavy. I see them moved on RGN trucks. They're very tall, very wide, and you need a bunch of axles.
Continue on Pagan Trail Southeast for 1.5 kilometers.
See, the company is called Compass. So they make this industrial. Oh, one guy is loading over there on the RGN white Freightliner. This will be a good place, you know, to, if you can get like a constant contract with them, man, you can be a millionaire. But it's super hard, you know, like building contacts and shippers and finding shippers, even though, like, see, like, there's so many enterprises, you know, so many. And here's a trucking company, Syndicate, probably financed by Italian mafia, and they're right next door to those guys. So I bet their salespeople go there and knock on doors all the time. But these are, I think they just had regular trailers. I don't think they do a specialized heavy hauling. And this is all southeast. Yeah, very big industrial area over here. And we're just outside of the bypass 201 or Stony Trail. Another container yard. Okay, will we get lucky with the lights? Yes. And this is 201 North.
Alberta 201 North ramp.
Yeah, and we're heading back to the airport. To the airport area. Oh man, look. There's like thousands of geese in the field.
1 kilometer.
And they're sitting on ice. It's so funny watching them because the water is covered by ice and they're just standing there. Probably thinking, what the heck, where's water? There used to be water over here. Well, not anymore. Even though it's +2 now. 34 or 35 F. More geese are flying in.
In 600 meters, merge
Like-
onto Alberta 201 North.
What are they doing here? Aren't they supposed to fly north somewhere? To North Pole? Oh, I see this. Look how many of them are there. I don't know if the camera will capture this, but there's, I don't know, 500, 600, 700 geese. And more coming. And the water is partially frozen.
For 22
So
kilometers.
some of them are standing on ice, some of them are floating in the water. Yeah, November 22nd. Man, time flies by really fast when you're having fun. So I'm supposed to be 64 in January, and my brother, who is 9 years younger, he turns 55 in December, in a couple of weeks. But we're not talking, so I'm not sending him any congratulation emails, and I'm pretty sure he's not gonna send me anything in January. So the father is gone, the mother is gone, and now we're not talking with each other. Beautiful. What's interesting is that same story happened with my late dad and his brother, Uncle Volodya, Vladimir. They had some kind of a fallout, big argument, and Vladimir was the older son. So Michael, my dad, was a younger son, and usually younger children, you know, they're more attentive to their parents, and so maybe that's what it was over there. And so they didn't talk for like 5 years or something, or 3 years. I remember that. And so same here. So Alex is a younger son, and he spent all this time with the mother, taking care of her in her last year. And he bought her an apartment, and he took care of this burial. Never asked me for any money. So okay, what do we have here? Is it the Peterbilt? Yeah, Peterbilt with a flatbed. One of those crazy ones that look like this because they're aluminum. I hate these. I see people have to, let's say they load some pipe, and because the trailer is so badly curved, they have to use dunnage in the rear. Because, yeah, you see like this one. I don't know if you can see it. No, it's like this. Yeah, like ridiculous. Like the center of the trailer is probably a foot higher than the front or the rear. And so when these guys are loading, let's say, pipe, they have to put dunnage in the back, otherwise the pipe is not touching touching the stupid trailer. I would never buy something like this. So basically they put that arch in because the trailer is weak, right? If they would have made it flat, once it's fully loaded, it'll be like this. That's just garbage trailer in my opinion. So if I was buying a flatbed, I would buy a good aluminum trailer, but with wood floor. Not aluminum floor, but wooden floor. Much easier to take care of and doesn't scratch as bad as aluminum, you know, and looks much better and creates friction. When you load something, it's safer. Kind of like what they use on RGN. Like, why on RGN trailers they don't use aluminum, they use wood. And that's what I've been working with ever since I bought my first RGN in, what was it, 2010, 2011? And they switched me to the Ram 3500. I loaded 4 frames, 6 10-footer decks, 2 10-footer braces, 8 casters, and now I'm on my way to stop number 1 in Corner Glen, which is maybe a kilometer from where I live. Basically, it's a new community, very northeast of the city. So we're going north on Highway 2 and then grabbing 201 east to the first exit, and it's right there. So that's stop 1, 2 frames, 3 decks, 1 brace, 4 casters, and then I'm going northwest to another new community and dropping the rest, 2 frames, 1 brace, 3 decks, 4 casters. So basically small, it was not. And because today's Saturday, we're not very busy, so I was able to back the truck right next to Scaffolding, and I was grabbing the frames right from the truck. You know, I put my tailgate down, and I was like a foot away from the frames, and I just grab them, boom, 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 very quick. And then I backed to the decks, and just had to carry them maybe 6 feet, 2 meters.
1.5 kilometers.
Oh, what is it? WestJet. I bet it's a WestJet landing. WestJet, yep, small plane. 2 turbo engines. And that will be my stop 2, and stop 3 is a bit, wow, I'm already at 109. Better slow down. And stop 3 is a pickup. I have to pick up. That's a bit more difficult because it involves propane tanks, but hopefully they are empty. Basically, it's a heater with some propane tanks. Yeah, we are into that kind of part of the year where people will be renting a lot of heaters. You know, when they pour concrete or whatever, they like having heaters, like especially in basements. And these heaters, they operate on propane. They're not electric, and plus, you know, when it's a new building, there's no electricity probably yet, right? And so they hook up these big 100-pound propane tanks, and they are really 100 pounds when they're loaded with gas, but when they're empty, they're probably like, I don't know, 30-40 pounds. Much easier to deal with. And so I'm picking up some heaters, forgot how many, maybe 2, maybe 1, and a couple of tanks, and bring it back.
Take exit 64 towards 60th Street East.
And they said after these 3 stops, delivery 1, delivery 2, pickup 3, I'm going back into the Freightliner. That's one thing I don't like, jumping from one vehicle to another, because I have to take my phone, my wallet, my charging cables, just in case.
600 meters, continue on to 60th Street Northeast.
So I need the older style iPhone cable for the service phone, and I need the new style or Android type of cable for my iPhone or my GoPro. Actually, it's very useful that my GoPro and my new iPhone share the same Android style port, you know, so I
Continue on 60th Street Northeast for 800 meters.
and this is the exit I take if I go home via the freeway.
In 500 meters, turn left onto 128th Avenue Northeast.
Yeah, this is pretty much where I live, except now we're going east.
Turn left onto 128th Avenue Northeast.
We are just 1 mile, 1.5 clicks away. It's over there. So hopefully there's no drywall trucks. I hate those. But quite a few times, right, I mentioned this, when I'm delivering scaffolding, because this customer, it's a drywall company, I'm delivering scaffolding and there's those guys with a 10-axle truck
In 300 meters at the roundabout,
delivering
turn
drywall.
onto Cornerstone Street Northeast.
No, well, it's not 10 axle, of course, I'm exaggerating, but last time I saw one, the biggest I saw this company was using the drywall. It had 2 steer axles and 3 axles in the back, and it's a, I don't know, 20-ton truck because it has 5 axles. Actually, we're going this way. All right. So you see, 4-bedroom townhome,
Roundabout onto Cornerstone Street Northeast.
brand new, 449 from.
Turn left onto Corner Glenway Northeast.
Basically, the cheapest price you can buy one of these townhouses, $450, which is actually pretty good because a house, a brand new house in this area is about $700,000. I think that would be too much for me, you know. Actually, I like condo apartments. You know, you don't have to deal with.
Glenway Northeast.
You don't have to deal with, you know, grass, snow. Of course, there's condo fees, but that's what you're paying for. But here, imagine if something goes.
Turn right onto Corner Glen Green Northeast.
Okay, not right now, but let's say, you know, 10-15 years, you'll have to change the roof, you know, do this, do that, change the furnace. You have to deal with all this, which reminds me, I screwed up my microwave oven. It was giving me some.
Turn right onto Corner Glen Green Northeast, then turn left.
It was giving me some error message door. You know, when I put the food in and I tried to start it, it says door. Like, I couldn't understand. The door is fully closed. And then finally I figured out what it was. It was like they have these little hooks. When the door closes, there's little 2 hooks go into like little hole, and that's what tells the microwave that. Okay, wait a second. This is Corner Glen Gardens. What do I need? I need Corner Glen Way. And so one of those hooks, I guess, was loose or something.
In 200 meters, you will arrive at your destination.
And I tried to fix them, and they both fell into there, inside the microwave. So now there's no hooks, and the door does not close. And of course, I cannot use the microwave. Like, the light stays on, so I found the plug. It was behind one of the cabinets, and I just unplugged it. But I'm pretty sure, because my apartment came with everything. My apartment came with the fridge, the washer, the dryer, the dishwasher, the microwave. So I'm pretty sure that maintenance is it's their responsibility. So I probably should call the property manager and tell them about this, and maybe they will fix it. All right, thankfully no drywall trucks. But you see, this is so new that there's no signs. All right, I see the little tiny sign over there that this is the proper street. It's probably one of those houses, not like, usually it's not like this, it's like this, when there's no door. What is this? You see they put little sign on the top, 450, 446, 442. There's already people living there. This one is for sale, 450. So no signs on the concrete. Sometimes, you know, they have fresh concrete, so you cannot go on it, but now there's no signs. I'm pretty sure it's this place. 446. Let me just double check my paperwork. Yeah, no, that's not mine. Mine is, I have to go around here. It's the same street, but there's a bunch of houses, and see, most of them are finished. So we're looking for something either with a big garbage container in the front, which means that they're still working on it. You see, like this one, no door on the garage. These are all done. See, this one is not done. The problem is, what I don't like is that quite often when there's an intersection like this, the street changes the name. You see, this one says Corner Glen Green. It's probably this one. I need Corner Glen Way. Okay, this is correct. See, somebody put a sign on the garage, so I know this is the proper one. Okay, so then it must be one of these like sometimes that's what they do, you know, they work inside and it's cold, and so they put these tarps. Well, that one already has frames. I think mine is this one. Alright, let me double check again. But at least there's no trucks. This is doesn't happen often, I can tell you that, where I can park really close to the house. Usually I have to park like this and then carry it like 30 feet, 10 meters, you know. And that's it. 2 frames, 3 decks, 1 brace, 4 casters are delivered. I took a picture, as usual I do. Since there's nobody there, I always take a photo and text it to the customer.
In 200 meters, turn right onto Cornerstone Street.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. So now I'm heading straight west. It's 20 kilometers to my second drop, but I know this area. There's a nice...
Turn right onto Cornerstone Street northeast.
There's a nice shawarma place nearby, like 1 kilometer away, and it's already 11:20.
In 300 meters at the roundabout, take the first exit onto 128th Avenue northeast.
So I don't like taking breaks after 12 because then there's too many people in the restaurant, and I only have 30 minutes. So I think I feel like a shawarma today. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go, I think we're gonna go this way.
Head southeast toward Cornerstone Street northeast. Exit the roundabout. Head south on Cornerstone Street northeast toward Cornerstone Manor northeast, Cornerstone Passage northeast. In 400 meters, turn right onto Cornerstone Avenue.
Yeah, I love this truck. Man, there's so much power, and the exhaust, like the, you know, in the back it has a pipe like this, I don't know, probably 5 inches, you know, and it sounds really great.
In 300 meters, turn
somewhere like this.
Turn right onto 60th Street Northeast.
Okay, just leaving stop 2. I think I'm going in the right direction, but sometimes it's hard to say which way it's sending you. This guy is having a smoking break. Okay, come on, make up your mind. No, wrong direction.
Head northeast on Annette Land NG Northwest toward Annette Villas Northwest.
Son of a
In
gun.
150 meters, turn left onto Annette Villas Northwest.
So that's north. But I wanted to record a bit
Turn
more
left onto Annette Villas Northwest.
because we're going on some county roads again. Because I did not realize it that my pickup, stop number 3, is
300 meters, turn left onto Marmot Green Northwest.
Rocky View County. So it's, well, it's not that far, but I'm already northwest, and from here it's still 13 clicks, 7-8 miles straight west. So I just have to jump on the road that would take me west. I think it's probably 144 Avenue. That's how I came here. And
Turn
this
left onto Marmot Green Northwest.
and this is already the middle of nowhere. Oh, actually I've been here before. I delivered an excavator here. The guy was saying next to the park. What park? It's like a lawn with no trees.
In 50 meters at the roundabout, continue straight to stay on Marmot Green Northwest.
Ah, he's sending me back to Shawarma Trail. Okay, I know this. And it's, you see, like it's all a mess.
Turn right onto Shaganappi Trail Northwest.
Like you see rock trucks over there. Yeah, this is like you see fields. This is kind of like the end of Calgary. And it keeps growing, keeps growing.
Turn right onto Shaganappi Trail Northwest.
So yeah, I have nothing in the truck, so I just drop off the last bit of scaffolding, which is 4 casters, 2 frames, 3 decks, and 1 brace.
Continue on Shaganappi Trail Northwest for 1 kilometer.
And the lunch was good because I insisted that shawarma place did not grill the meat again. Because I don't know what these idiots, why are they doing this bullshit? But basically, no, they have meat on those, what do you call them, like a piece of steel in the oven, right? And it keeps rotating. And then when they have a special tool that they cut that meat off, like just small slices, so that they can put them in your shawarma wrap. But once they do that, they slice the meat onto a little kind of like a dustbin, and then they put it on the hot plate and they grill it there for a few minutes.
Right onto 144th Avenue Northwest.
And quite a few times I noticed that the meat is extra dry. You know, it loses flavor. And actually I started asking them, I said,
for 10 kilometers.
could you please add a bit of oil? Like, because they have some, you know, olive oil. And I said, it's very dry. And so this time, I'm like determined. Like I said, I asked the guy there, who of course he speaks hardly any English. I said, I don't want you to grill the meat. I want a shawarma wrap with chicken and beef, because that's what I saw. They had those big turning things in there. And I said, but I don't want you to grill the meat. Just give me this. He looks at me kind of like, I'm from Mars. I said, let me ask you this. Is that meat good to eat? Is it cooked? He looks at me. So I repeat louder and slower. Is that meat good to eat? So finally, he nods his head. I said, okay, then do not grill it. Give me the meat from that stuff. Otherwise, it's too dry. You understand? Dry. No flavor. Okay. He brings me the meat. You want to try it? I said, no, my hands are dirty. I haven't washed my hands yet, you know, after work. Because I was waiting for them to ask me, you know, what vegetables to put in, and then I thought I would go to the washroom. And this guy brings me the meat. I said, it's cooked, right? He says, yeah. I said, okay, then why do you grill it? And it was way, way better than normal. It was juicy. It was good, you know? I really enjoyed it. And then I bought some sweets. I thought I would give somebody to the I would give them to somebody in the office, but actually I ate all of them but one, like, you know, those small, kind of like a candy made with nuts and some flour. In Russian they call them pakhlava or baklava. But anyway, when I went to pay for this, he says, so how was the food? I said, it was great. It was amazing. It was much better flavor than normal. And imagine my surprise when this guy says, when I take my own food, I never grill it. I always take it right from the thing where the meat is being cooked. I said, really? Oh, that's good to know. Idiots. Wow, look at this. I was driving here the other day. I was thinking, what kind of legs would you need to ride up this hill on my single speed bike? Because this is like, I don't know, 80% hill? No, maybe 35, I don't know, but definitely more than 10. Just nuts. See, so this is what I'm going. Oh yeah, and then in 6 clicks I'm turning south or left on Woodland Road Range. Yeah, this is like a pit. Yeah, and we are in the country. So if you go south from here, you'll hit all those big mansions, you know, in west of Calgary, where all those rich people live. But now we're going straight west, well, almost, towards the mountains. Actually, I can see the mountains behind the trees. So this is towards Banff, backwards is towards Calgary. And I just wanted to show you guys, before the snow, which actually I was just listening to 660 News, like a local AM news station. I don't like listening to music when I drive, you know. I'd rather listen to news. And that's what I do, by the way. When I have my lunch, I bring my cell phone, I open YouTube, I click news, and I watch some video clip about recent news, mostly about, you know, international or like what's happening in Ukraine or US. I follow US politics very closely. Like, Canadian politics is really boring. Nothing is happening here. We don't have that many scandals as guys in the States have. So I think life in the States for reporters is much more fruitful than Canada. Yeah, the biggest, not scandal, but piece of news we have is that our former prime minister, is now dating an American pop star. You heard about this? And she is his 20 years junior. Leave comments if you know what I'm talking about. And so yeah, so normally when I eat, I open the YouTube page and I watch a video with some low volume. Like just now I watched a very interesting speech by some American professor who was at the meeting with European leaders. Some kind of a, you know, it's like a group. I think it was called Patriot or something like that. And it involved Americans and Europeans. And this guy was delivering a speech about Ukraine-Russia war, and it's like, man, it's so sobering, you know. He was saying, I believe Russia will win and Ukraine will end up as a kind of like slumbering state, losing 20 to 30% of its territory, because he was saying how much more Russia has in terms of manpower and weapons and stockpiles, how much bigger the economy is, and he was saying that according to his calculations, so far Ukraine lost 1 million men, whereas Russia lost much less. And also he was saying that Ukraine has a big problem finding soldiers because of not enough population, but also because of widespread reality of where people desert, leave the front basically. He said it's pretty widespread over there. So he says even with Europe and US helping helping Ukraine, there's no way Ukraine will win. And he says what will happen is that NATO will become weaker because Russia now right here, and Europe will become disorganized. Basically it will be chaos. But he says it's impossible to stop Russia unless US and Europe are willing to participate in the war. So all these weapons, all this, how much money they give Ukraine, it's all BS. Like, you cannot beat the Russian bear, as they said. It's too big, too powerful.
600 meters, turn left onto Woodland Road, Range Road 31.
Much bigger country, much more population. Oh, and he was saying also another very bad factor for Ukraine is that its manufacturing is in shambles, whereas the Russian industry is in war.
Turn left onto Woodland Road, Range Road 31.
Kind of like war mode, and it's cranking up, production, and so they're making a ton of missiles and bombs, and whereas Ukraine has a really difficult time building stuff. The only thing where Ukraine
On Woodland Road for 1 kilometer.
succeeded was drones, and they said that initially Ukraine was beating Russia in this drone warfare, but now they say Russians learned the lesson, and actually now they're beating Ukraine as well with drones. So basically, I never heard such a what's the word, sobering speech before,
Turn
about
left onto Willow Creek Summit.
the war. And it's not for Russian. This guy, he's not like pro-Russian or whatever. He's just talking about facts. He says you cannot beat Russia even with all this help that Ukraine gets. No way. And that's
Turn left onto Willow Creek Summit, then turn left onto Willow Creek View.
And that's kind of like frightening, So I guess my brother will never talk to me now. Since now they're gonna win the war. Hey, we beat the Nazis, because they think that Ukrainians are all Nazis.
Turn left onto Willow Creek View, then you will arrive at your destination.
And probably they're gonna overthrow Zelensky or kill him. Okay, what is this? Willow Creek View. I think this is... Oh yeah, man, I think I've been here before. I'm pretty sure it's that house over there. Uh-oh, and the gate is locked.
You have arrived.
Oh, actually, wait, it's open? No, that's a different one. Pretty sure it's this one. Huh. I see our heater and I see the tank. That's what I'm supposed to pick up. Interesting. So if that's 88 and this is 96, what is this? 8 difference? Yeah, normally it's 4. So if that's 88, this should be 92. Son of a gun. And I tried calling the guy, he didn't answer. I sent him a message, no reply. Well, actually, that's to my advantage because the guy has been warned that I'm coming. So I'm gonna call him again. I'll see if he send me a text message. Maybe the gate is just, there's no lock. I'm gonna go and see and try. But if we cannot pick it up, they're gonna charge him for second attempt, and I'll just write on my paperwork, first attempt, date and time, cannot access the property. And then they're gonna charge him another few bucks, a couple of tens of dollars. All right, so let me call the guy and text him and see what's going on. So everything was still connected. There was the heater, the tanks with the manifold. This cable was connected. The only thing that they disconnected was the ducting. Voila! Here what I picked up. So 2 tanks, thankfully empty, much lighter. Propane hose. Then this thing hooks up to both tanks, allows them to basically, this little thing has 2 cables. They hook up to both tanks so that this propane hose takes propane from both tanks at the same time. And there's a regulator, that's the actual heater. And then they hook up, yeah, that's the electric thing. And then they just hook up this to the end, this end or the other end. And that's it. And so that's when you need heat. That's where it was. You see that window into the basement? So that's what they were heating. But everything was still connected. I told the guy, hey, I'll mark my time, but actually it only took me less than 10 minutes to disconnect everything and load. So I don't think they're gonna charge them for this. But look at this, beautiful design. It's gonna look great when it's finished. And except I had to drive through that little hole in there. It was a bit scary because you cannot see anything from the cab, and I didn't want to go into that thing. Like, look at this, you see this? Yeah, that one, because that's pretty steep, right? So you had to stick to this, you know. But anyway, yeah, the gate, I opened the gate because the guy answered the phone and he says, yeah, there's no lock, just, you know, they just closed. Just open them up and drive inside and you should be able to load. So somebody's moving in, probably in the spring. Wow, the picture looks really nice on my phone. The sky is like so dramatic, you know. Anyway, time to get back into my truck and start driving. And then after this, they said I have something in for the Freightliner. And these are the neighboring houses. Or more like castles, I don't know. This one is just regular. This one is nice. Huge. So the other day, the shop supervisor, a young kid, I don't know, 16 years old, well, maybe 23, I don't know. He bugs me like once a month. He bugs me, oh, Sergey, so maybe it's time for a haircut. And I decided, last time I just shaved off everything and I used I used that, what do you call it? Shaver with no attachments, which means that I cut the hair pretty short, like a couple of millimeters. And I used the same deal, like both for my hair and my beard. But this time I decided to kind of like revolt because I don't work for him, you know, he did not hire me, and I don't work in the shop, I'm a driver. So what I did is, as you can see, I shaved off all my hair, but I kept the beard. Well, I trimmed up over here because it was getting a bit unruly. But I remember there was an old Russian film called Reka. If somebody's Russian, they might remember it. This was a super famous film in 70s, you know, 1970s. It was like 3 or 4 films. It was like a TV show, but it was about this rich people living in Siberia, you know, about their love life and people being unfaithful, and then dramas happening, people kill each other, you know. And one of the characters was like a Tajik guy, you know, and he had the same style. He had bald head, but very nice, you know, black beard. Of course, mine is not. We're getting old, so the beard has gray hair, which actually I enjoy, you know, kind of like interesting. I'm looking at my face now because the camera is over here. So yeah, that's my revolt against the shop supervisor. So I'm gonna be a bearded guy, but I'm gonna keep shaving the head because I really hate when, you know, you see people with hair on their neck. I hate that. So as soon as I see, like, I look in the mirror, as soon as I see this hair growing there, I just shave off everything. Yeah, next time I'm not gonna use I think this time I used an attachment, so it's not very short, but next time I'll just use the shaver just by itself, so I can pretty much be bald, you know, but trim up the beard a little bit, but keep the bulk. So actually it's interesting to me. So now I'm 63 and finally my beard is, I have something that I can call a beard. But when I was in my like 35, 36, when I left Ukraine for Moscow, and I was trying so hard to grow any mustache or beard, and I remember seeing my old pictures when I was in Moscow visiting my late mom, and she had these photos, which now of course I have no idea where they are, but I remember seeing myself and I was like laughing, and because it looked so ridiculous. I had like 2mm thick mustache, but I really wanted to look older because I always looked much younger. Like when I was 20, I looked like I was 12, you know. Genes, I guess. I don't know. And so yeah, I tried really hard and nothing was growing. But now I don't care. You know, I don't work in customer service as long as I do my work. Like, well, if the boss, you know, like the manager or my dispatcher, if they say something, hey Sergey, why do you have this weird beard? Then I might shave it off. But until now, so that's it. We're growing the beard and we're going bald all over here. In other news, why I love the company I work for, each December they organize a super fancy, expensive Christmas party. And by expensive, I mean the food. Last year we went to this real Italian restaurant, and the only problem for me is because I'm lactose intolerant, and you cannot choose items. Basically they chose for you, and it was like a massive,
in 2 kilometers, take the exit onto Highway 201 North and Stony Trail.
it was like a massive 5-course dinner, you know, and each dish would arrive after the previous one, and basically you don't have a choice. And of course, this being Italian cuisine, some of it had milk or cheese, and then of course I had a headache on the next day. It didn't feel very good. So this time I see we're going to a steak place. It has chicken, it has steak, and it actually has like a bowling alley. And so they were saying that now we have two sheets in the lunchroom where you sign up, like your name is there, and you mark how many people
Use
are gonna.
the right lane to take the exit onto Highway 201 North and Stony Trail.
How many people are gonna attend, and which event are you attending? Are you attending just the Christmas party? Yes, no, and are you attending the after party where they're gonna be playing bowling? I never played bowling before, so I don't know. I don't want to go. And so the food is free to all employees, but they said alcohol is our responsibility. But I remember that last time they said the same thing at that Italian restaurant, and I had like a couple of glasses of wine, and then I think I had like 2 drinks or maybe 3. And when I asked for my bill, I asked the server for my bill. I said, they told us we have to pay for the alcohol, and he said, no, it's okay, they paid for it. So basically it turns out they tell you that booze is not free, but then if you stay under like certain amount of drinks, they cover it. So it's kind of like a secret number. Like technically you're supposed to pay, but if you under 2 or under 3 drinks, they're okay. Basically it's man, this rental business, I'm telling you, it's so lucrative, you know. I wish I could I could get into this. Like, you know,
In
how
about
do you,
16 kilometers, take exit 60 onto Highway 2 at Deerfoot Trail.
like, how do you get into something like this? You know, like I was thinking about this myself, and I think they were saying that our current owner learned from his father. His father started the business, and then he probably worked there a few summers, went to the university, and then the father left him everything.
Stay in
and
the left 3 lanes.
he didn't sell the business, he just left it to his son, and the son continues the tradition, and now he's pretty much like my age, you know. And so now I'm guessing his children will take over, because it's a Klondike, you know, it's a gold mine. So the money comes not only from rentals, but a large portion comes from transportation, because if they don't have their own, you know, power, like let's say if it's a scaffolding, yeah, you can pick it up, right? Like, especially something I just delivered, you know, 2 frames, but even, you know, even like decks, they're 10 feet long, you know. You need to have a regular pickup truck, you can fit it in if you open the tailgate and then you just tie them down, you know. But still, it's not easy. It's all steel, like those frames, right? But sometimes I do see people show up with like Beamers and Mercedeses, and they try to put those 5 by 5 feet by 5 feet steel frames inside a fancy van or a fancy car. And but anyway, so yeah, we charge them. There's one charge if only a pickup truck is required, and the charge doubles. So basically, what I'm doing now is called light delivery and light pickup. But if we have to use the Freightliner for something that's too heavy for the pickup truck, for example, a skid steer, you know, a mini excavator, or even like a loader, you know, like the one that you stand behind, because that one is 3,000-4,000 pounds. The tailgate on this one can only take 1,500 pounds. So you cannot even, that small loader, which actually looks small, you cannot load it. So that one is considered heavy delivery. And the thing is, they are charged both ways, to deliver from our shop to their location, and then to pick up, same charge. Okay, and so sometimes I'm thinking, I'm doing like, I don't know, 10 trips a day. It's a lot of money, you know. Like these trucks, this is where the, you know, money is. So they bought these trucks. I don't know if they bought them new. Well, the second Freightliner, I know it's new, but this one, yeah, they probably bought it new too, because this one is probably 7-8 years old, the one I drive usually. And then pickup trucks are quite old, but I'm pretty sure they bought them new as well. And so these trucks are really, you know, turning a profit, which would be an envy of a regular, you know, trucking company. And surprisingly, so all we do, right, we're not a carrier for hire, right? We are a private carrier, because we only carry our own stuff, you know. And still, like, no load boards, no dispatchers, right? We don't do favors for other people, you know, where somebody might call and say, hey, I know you guys have trucks and, you know, pickup trucks and a Freightliner. Can you maybe move one of my excavators? No, I never saw something like this happen, because we're too busy moving our own stuff and making money. So whoever designed this is a genius, you know. Like, I'm probably talking about the father of our current owner, like, to come up with this system, you know. And the computer system, everything is there. You can go to the website, you can check out the pricing, and you don't even have to talk to anybody. You can do everything from the website by email. Say, okay, here's my credit card. Oh yeah, they send you a link, like a secure link for payment. Kind of like, almost, you know, like Amazon. When you buy something on Amazon, same deal here. But still, many people prefer to come in and do the deal at the counter, right? So we have like 3-4 people at the counter with the computer, so they can take your order. You can arrange delivery, but a lot of people choose to do it via the website. You know, everything is on the website. It's all e-commerce. So basically, owners make money in the sleep. You know, when you sleep, you wake up in the morning. There's like 3 orders for delivery, 2 orders for pickup. I mean, this is really, well, you cannot call it passive income because you have to participate, right? And what makes it complicated is that, with the only exception of scaffolding, everything has to be serviced after it's returned. Because people, I can see, so people treat this stuff much worse than my Durango. We have, like, last time I picked up a mini excavator, whole bunch of scratches. They bend the track. I mean, tracks are falling off, you know. It's just awful. And so, like scissor lifts, right? Like scissor lift, you have to check the battery for the battery fluid. You have to make sure it goes up and down properly, that all the wheels are in good condition, because sometimes people return them. I don't know what they're doing, like donuts in the parking lot, even though actually
Stay in the left 3 lanes.
my eternal joke is, I said, please, no donuts in the parking lot. You know, just to make people smile. Because of course you cannot do donuts with a scissor lift, but still I say, okay, sir, our only request is please no donuts in the parking lot, okay? And yet somehow they return these scissor lifts sometimes with, and there's no tires, right? It's all solid rubber wheel, and they return it with chunks of rubber missing. I don't know. Bunch of dirt underneath, even though we're telling them that these regular scissor lifts, they're called slab, S-L-A-B, slab scissor lifts, because they're supposed to work only on pavement, because they're very low, like the ground clearance is very low, and tires are kind of like racing tires, you know. There's hardly any tread, and yet maybe 20% of cases people rent these and they put them on the ground, and then there's a bunch of dirt underneath, but also each wheel has a sensor, so to keep the machine, you know, level, so that you don't fall down. And so if you use it on the dirt, one of the sensors can go off, and what happens then is that the machine locks up. It'll start beeping like crazy, and you cannot use it. It's not going to go up, it's not going to go down, it's not going to drive.
Take exit 60 onto Highway 2 and Deerfoot Trail.
Yeah, which means that if you plan to use a machine like that on dirt, you need one of our rough terrain machines, because we have a scissor lift that's called RT scissor lift. Does the same thing, but it has tires with like 4-inch tread, and it can go anywhere, you know. I like those. They have a lot of power and very cool sound because they have a diesel engine, you know. Whereas these ones are electric, right? So RT lifts are all diesel. Oh, and also we have this RT boom lift. Also can go anywhere. Like soon
Take
we're
exit
getting
60 onto Highway 2 and Deerfoot Trail. Then keep right to merge onto Highway 2 south towards City Center.
Yeah, and now we're getting into Christmas, and so a lot of people will be renting these boom lifts and RT scissor lifts to
use the right lane to keep right to merge onto Highway 2 south towards City Center.
to put up Christmas lights. You know, I delivered quite a few of them last year, to private homeowners and then to companies that were putting lights on trees in a community park, and they use these RT boom lifts. And I'm working again. So finished at 3:30 because we close at 4, right? So 8 to 4 on Saturdays in winter. And so my last delivery was just like my dispatch said, after I was done with the Ram 3500, the last load was in a Freightliner. So I picked up a nice RT boom lift and took it pretty much downtown to like 9th Avenue and yeah, basically across the river from the zoo, that part of 9th Avenue, like east. And there's so many people there, like crowds, crowds, because this was like 3 o'clock. Crowds are walking around, and I'm thinking, man, that's Uber. Shoot, that beeping, that was Lyft offering me something, $14. And so yeah, I was thinking, man, so many people, this is Saturday. Saturday is usually the best. And so my car was dirty. I'm in a Durango, and I asked the shop supervisor, the one that wanted me to shave. I said, hey, can I rinse off my car real quick? I said 5-10 minutes because we have power wash in there. And this being Saturday, they're not too busy. They're not washing anything. So he says, yeah, sure. So I grabbed my car, parked it in front of the bay. We have a really long hose. Started the compressor and just rinsed off the car because there was quite a lot of dirt at the bottom. And then I rinsed off, cleaned all the floor mats with power wash, and just use my cleaner to spray these sides. Oh shoot! These sides under the doors. Yeah, I use this as a tissue. Nobody ever asked me yet, but I don't have a real tissue, but that works as well. But so yeah, usually these parts get real dirty, especially here. This part. And so you see how clean it is now. So I clean all this with a spray, and same on the other side. Like, this is still dirty, but who cares? Clean the doors, clean the seats. And there was guys that tipped me $40 yesterday. So one of them was sitting in the front, and I found some dirt on the seat. So I'm guessing he had dirty pants or something. He probably was sitting on the ground when drinking beer when they were waiting for me. And so yeah, good thing that I noticed. And so I cleaned up the car, and then I went to Shell, $1.33 again in Northeast, crazy. And I got $50 worth of 93 gas. Actually, yeah, $1.33, that was 87. 91 was $1.60. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna get 91. But then I look at 93, the highest octane they had. The 93 was only 6 cents more, $1.66. And so that's what I got. I got the best gas Shell has at that location. So $1.66, and I preset $50, and I started the app, and 5 minutes later they gave me a guy right in my area across the street, and he was going downtown. And so I'm sitting now at that's 4th Avenue, and this is 1st Street Southeast. I just dropped him off at this Chinatown over here. And behind me, sitting next to Government of Canada building, and I'm supposed to pay, but I'm on the lookout for the Toyota guy. Usually they're in Toyotas, like parking enforcement. So I'm only here for like 5-10 minutes. Screw them. Both my apps are running. Yeah, this was 17 kilometers, and Uber paid me $16, no tip. So it's not like yesterday, but yeah, yesterday $40 in tips. That was something. I think I'm gonna start offering people these optional services. Like, you want sudden acceleration in a Durango, throttle to the floor, $5 each time. You want, charging cord, $2. You want me to take a picture with your girlfriend, $3. Or you want me to play some specific music? Sometimes I'm thinking like, if somebody gets in and I'll say, all right, so what kind of music would you like? Today is Saturday, say. So I only have two types, either dance or heavy metal. So heavy metal is $3, dance is $5. Which one would you prefer? That would be good, right? Which reminds me, once I was in, how I remember this, how I came up with this super smart idea is I was in Amsterdam in the red light district. This is for grown-ups only, okay? So red light district, if you ever been to Netherlands, specifically Amsterdam, so they have this red light district and they have huge windows and no curtains, and the windows are the floor of the apartments or offices inside starts kind of like at your knees, like you're on the sidewalk, but the floor over there is at your knees, and then it's like 2 meters, 6 feet, and there's chicks in there standing in the window in swimming suits, and they're just turning around, they're walking, they try to lure you. And I remember the deal was like, they would say, you wanna touch me here? Sure, $5. What? You wanna touch me here? And she points to her butt. Another like $10, like it's kind of like everything costs money, you wanna, anyway, so I don't want to go into details, otherwise YouTube will not like this video. But anyway, so same deal here, right? So you want heavy metal, $3. You want dance music, $5. You want charging cable, you want sudden acceleration down the ramp in the Durango, probably I should charge more, maybe $10, because it costs me gas. So anyway, sitting here, and quite often downtown is dead this early in the evening. This is time now is what? So it's Saturday. Time now is, come on. Oh wow, 4:40. So it's 20 minutes to 5. Of course there's nothing here. So this guy was coming from northeast, going to a restaurant. I'm guessing meeting his friends. And unless somebody here, like, because there's a bunch of hotels here on this around 4th Avenue, unless somebody goes to the airport, maybe people go like 4:40, like 20 minutes to 5. Maybe there'll be like a short run, somebody, because there's also rental apartments here, like fancy, expensive apartments. So maybe somebody from an apartment building will be going to a restaurant, but normally that would not be far. There would be like 2-3 kilometers, $4.95, no tip. So I don't know, I guess I'll just wait till 5. So 4:41 now. I'll wait till 5. If there's nothing, I'll just tell Uber to direct me home and give me rides on the way home if there's anything, but usually there's nothing. And so it's like, surprising. Downtown, late afternoon, early evening, no passengers. Well, I'm not gonna bore you because this video is gonna be really, really long, which is how we roll. Okay. Catch you on the next one.